Hey everyone, this is Shawn Batchelor. Welcome to my week one review video for immersive application deployment. This is term 1507. So the week one video is about implementing the immersive element that we chose to submit, that we're going to submit for week two. And the immersive element that I chose is actually a strategic element. So just let me go over that real quickly before I break it down. So my strategic element is going to be an accuracy meter, and pretty much it's going to be a horizontal meter, and it tracks the percentage of accuracy based on how many balloons you shoot and how many you miss. So my game's about shooting balloons. It's called Balloon Shooter. So balloons fall from the sky, and you have a gun, and you pretty much just shoot. And once the two nodes collide, then you get a point. So how I have it right now, if I can show you the screenshot, as you can see, this first shot right here doesn't hit anything. This one collides. These two likely won't collide with anything. And as it is right now, there is no consequence to just firing randomly. So I can literally set off a stream of shots without any penalty for doing so. So what I want to do is implement some actual level of skill and concentration for the user so he can target the balloons instead of randomly firing shots. So basically, if you shoot and you hit, you're going to get your points, which is what you expect. However, if you miss, it's going to impact on your accuracy, your total accuracy. And so that's going to make it a strategic immersion element. So you'll actually have to try to play skillfully and not just randomly. Um, so based on the questions that they asked, says estimated level of difficulty implementing this feature. It doesn't sound too complicated to implement, but I do think there are certain elements of it that will turn out to be complicated actually. So let me go down here. This is an example of what it's going to look like. It is a game that's called Math Ninja, and pretty much this one is a vertical bar, and it has the green and it has the red that shows you the health of the tree. So mine's going to be similar. It's going to be horizontal, and it's also going to have I'm trying to get a gradient. I want to get a gradient fill if I can implement that. I'm not quite sure if SpriteKit will allow me to do a gradient. However, if it doesn't, I might be able to use the native UI from Objective-C to do that. Otherwise, if I'm not able to do a gradient, then I'll have to do like two layers that are overlaying on top of each other. One like a green layer, and then on top of a red layer. So when the green layer decreases, then it'll show the red behind it. So I may have to do that, but at first I'm gonna actually attempt to use the gradient, but I'll see how that works out. So what order each part of the element will be implemented? I'm gonna lay out the bar. And let me get back down to my, excuse me, let me get back down to my submission right here. So create and display the accuracy meter in the form of a fillable bar. That's what I intend to do first, and then I will add the labels to it. So obviously I'm putting this immersive element on the screen, the accuracy meter, so the user can see it. Second thing I'm going to do is I got to dynamically change the labels and update the percentage value based on the node collisions. So I'm actually going to have to track when the balloon nodes collide with the shot node and do a mathematical calculation and update that label, which shouldn't be too difficult because I'm already updating the label for the score, so I can pull off of that. However, I think what's actually going to be a little bit more challenging is doing the actual calculations, because I have to have a baseline as to the number of shots fired as well as to the number of collisions, and then once I get those, I establish those baselines, and I can continuously track them and do the calculations. So I think that mathematical part might be a little bit difficult for me. And then the next thing is, it says dynamically color the accuracy meter based on the collisions. So that part is definitely going to be a bigger challenge than anything else, is figuring out how to do the dynamic change based on the number of collisions that are going to occur. What an ideal implementation would look like, for example, how the user would ideally engage with your immersive element. So the user is not directly engaging with the immersive element itself. It is a visual, a user interface. So it's a visual element that they will see, which will play on the brain, which is where the strategic immersion comes in. So they'll realize that they actually have to fire and be accurate in order to maintain the accuracy of the meter. And then the second part of the immersive element that I hope to implement, which I'm not quite certain I'm going to be able to get to, depending on how much I can achieve out of the first part, is to actually implement a penalty for not maintaining the accuracy of the immersive of the plate challenge. So that is pretty much all I got for this week. So hopefully I can implement it without too much of a challenge. But it sounds like it's not going to be complicated. But as usual, everything is always turns out to be a lot more challenging than I think it's going to be. So again, I'm Shawn Batchelor. This is my week 1 review video for immersive application deployment, and it's term 1507. Thank you.